at 11:30.
Criminal case number E037 of 2022. Didmus Barasa.
Yes, Your Lordship. For the state, Ms. Mukambi and Ms. Charlotte are appearing.
She's from Mukambi.
Mukambi, yes. NGU and Ms. Charlotte for the state.
Thank you, Your Lordship. My name is Masai.
Masai.
Yes.
Yes.
I appear for the accused together with my senior colleague, Mr. Torre.
Is that Mr. Torre?
Yes, Mr.
He's
Lord.
present.
We have ordered.
Yes, the one is copy.
We are ready.
Yes, we are ready. The accused person has been examined and received copy. There is a report in report 5, the second attack, 2022.
Masai and Torre, you are ready?
Yes, Your Lordship, we are ready.
Count is ready to take it. Mr. Kulubi, you can have the information for your
Didmus Barasa tunashtakiwa na shtaka la mauaji tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu ukiwa Chemkwadi Village, Kimilili location, Kimilili sub county, Bungoma county. Unashukiwa kumuua Brian Olunga. Ni ukweli au si kweli? Not true.
You are comfortable with language, Kiswahili or English?
English.
English. Enter a plea of not guilty. Any position on bond?
Your Lordship, on the part of the accused person, we get an application for the court to consider placing the accused person on bond, with an alternative of cash bail. We so humbly plead, Your Lordship.
My Lord, we are not opposed to bond being granted to the accused person. This is right. However, my Lord, we pray that this court considers the gravity of the offense. The accused is facing a charge of murder, and we ask that the court sets a bond that is commensurate to the offense, that will actually compel him to attend court. The charge of murder carries a possible death sentence. And my Lord, we pray that the bond terms be strict, with at least 2 sureties. We're also praying that the court considers that the accused person is a sitting member of Parliament, currently on his 2nd term, and he carries considerable influence in his constituency of Kimilili, where this offense is said to have happened. And there is need to protect the witnesses and also the public order and peace, which is one of the considerations of the bail and bond policy guidelines. So, my Lord, we are praying for conditions to be set for his bond. The same are contained in an affidavit sworn by Inspector Peter Kamau on the 8th of August 2022. And the conditions we are praying for are that if the court grants him bail,
The affidavit was sworn when?
on the 8th of, on the 23rd of August. On the 23rd of August 2022. Now, the conditions that we are praying for are that the accused person surrenders his passport before this court. Also, that the accused be ordered not to own or use a gun during the pendency of this case.
Is that legal for the an agency of government who licenses and regulates use of guns?
Yes, there is. We can file a separate application, but as part of his bond conditions, and we ask that he agrees not to use a gun, because he's already licensed to own one. Not to use one or even own one.
Yes, already?
He's already licensed to own one in his capacity as a member of parliament. We're also asking that the accused be ordered not to contact, interfere, or compromise the witnesses directly or indirectly. We're also praying that he be ordered not to be at Kimilili constituency until about 23 civilian witnesses who reside at Kimilili constituency have testified. That is part of his bond, and also additionally, my Lord, we're also praying that the court allows us to limit the disclosure of identity of the witnesses, and also contact information while supplying the witness statements to the accused and his counsel. But we pray to be allowed to do that to supply the same within 14 days. That is all.
Yes.
Yes, Your Lordship, I wish to begin with the issue that we are not contesting. One of the accused person undertakes not with the shared witnesses. And we object to the request limiting the identity of the potential witnesses. Regarding the other issues, Your Lordship, I wish to begin on the issue of whether or not the accused person should be allowed to own or use a gun. My Lord, that matter is already pending before the High Court at Nairobi. Matter I think I'm sure is known to the prosecution. And any orders, Your Lordship, on that issue would then limit or would tie the hands of the other court, which is properly says on that issue of whether or not the accused person should be allowed to own or use a gun. My Lord, for clarity,
It is pending which matter?
it is pending before the High Court at Nairobi with the money Constitutional Petition number E069 of 2021.
Petition number?
E069 of 2021. The petitioner is the accused hearing, that is Honorable Didmus Barasa, versus Inspector General of Police, Firearm Licensing Board as the second respondents, Director of Criminal Investigation, as well as the AG. And my Lord, your brother Justice Mrima has issued interim orders allowing him to hold a gun. My Lord, being a court of concurrent jurisdiction, it is important that to avoid conflicting decisions on the same issue, that matter be left to that court. And if the DCI is so minded, they can make an application in that particular proceeding.
The interim orders were given when?
They were dated the 22nd of March 2021 and they still subsist to the Lordship. I can avail a copy if the court
Is it big 13 months?
dated the 22nd of March 2021 and issued by the court on the 15th of March. My Lord, on the second issue, you've been invited to order the accused person to surrender his passport. My Lord, in the course of his duty as Member of Parliament, my Lord, it involved the clients traveling in and out of the country in the course of his duty. And my Lord, we will be humbly submitting that would limit the extent of how much he can work. My Lord, we, in view thereof, we propose an order that he notifies the court in writing or in any other such manner if he intends to travel, but he can have his passport with him. In the unlikely event that the court is so minded to order that he surrenders his passport, the same is in Nairobi, in his home in Nairobi. If the court orders, we shall undertake to deliver the same within 48 hours from the time he is released. My Lord, thirdly, you've been invited to consider strict bond terms for the accused person. My Lord, in that consideration, I'll be inviting the court to take into account that the accused person voluntarily surrendered himself to Bungoma CCI's office on learning that it was being sold. Having learned of his the summons through social media posted by the DCI. My Lord, the nature of the bond terms would be considered in light of the fact that on that basis, the accused is not a flight risk, and the lenient terms, therefore, Lordship, is the most suitable approach. My Lord,
It's not a flight risk, huh?
it's not a flight risk. Therefore, it will actually mitigate on the fact that you may not issue the very strict of bond terms. One surety is sufficient. alternative of cash bail. And lastly, Your Lordship, you've been invited to make a finding that on account of his position, the accused person may interfere in witnesses, and therefore you should limit his access to Kimilili. It is indeed true, Your Lordship, that the accused person is the MP-elect for Kimilili constituency, and that as part of representation, the public interest matrix involves that the people of Kimilili are entitled to representation as envisaged under Article 1, Article 2 of the Constitution. And my Lord, limiting his access to the constituency militates against the right of representation afforded to the people of Kimilili constituency. My Lord, the statute provides for other means in which that can be obtained, and that, my Lord, is contained in the Witness Protection Act. And you have not been told, Your Lordship, that the mechanism provided under that act are not sufficient to obtain the same end which they seek to obtain by limiting his access to the constituents. My Lord, those few remarks, we once again reiterate our plea that you consider lenient terms, bond terms for the accused person, in the best interest of justice. That is all, Your Lordship. Thank you.
We still ask for the same conditions that we asked for. As council has considered, they can, in the issue of passport, and obviously insist that the same be deposited. The accused person has a right to inform court if should he need to travel to avoid issues of adjournment and the fact that he has traveled, so that the court is informed at all times of his whereabouts. We still, my Lord also insists that the bond terms be strict. It's not about him being a flight risk. It's about the fact that he stands accused of murder, which is a serious offense. And we ask that the court considers the nature of that offense, if he strict bond terms. But on the issue of his access to Kimilili constituency, we are alive to the fact that he is a member. And all we are asking for is that his presence there be limited up until the time when the civilian witness is justified, which is something that can be expedited. The witnesses can be brought to court in quick succession, and they testify, and he's able to go back to his duties. He has a lot of influence there. He has a lot of influence there, and there's a lot of apprehension that the witnesses will have to do. So, my Lord, we pray. And also, on the issue of witness protection, 23 witnesses and their families might be a bit much for the Witness Protection Act. And that is where and he is just one person. As against 23 witnesses and their families, my Lord, it is only reasonable that he be ordered not to visit the area until the 23 witnesses testify. So my Lord is still praying for the same condition.
I will consider those submissions and I'll give you a ruling at 3 p.m. today. That is all. We'll adjourn, we'll resume, if you're ready, with the number 38 of 2011. Which one is? What is this one?
It's also coming up for
Okay. We also had number 5 of this year.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah, yes, for hearing at 1.
At 1?
Yes.
Okay. But since we have quite a bit, if you are ready with this between now and 12, let us know, we can deal with it. We'll adjourn.
Kuna mahali pa kuandika moja bado andike majina yake.
Ndio nafaa tutafute jina yake. Tuulize huyo jamaa. Cha tuulize jina huyo jamaa.
Jina ya?